Hi, welcome to Actual Spinster. Great look today, right? Today I'm gonna do a autumn-winter TBR, which also includes my Victober TBR, so the Victorian novels I'm gonna read in October potentially. I've decided to go for 10 because this is like a dual season TBR. Like, nobody cares except for me, but like I made some rules about the TBRs I make. Not having more than 8 was one of them for a seasonal TBR, but because this covers 2, I'm gonna hold up 10. I actually am also gonna mention an audiobook of a book that I don't own that I kind of feel like I'm inching my way towards reading, but we'll get to that when we get to it. I guess I'll start with the Victober related reading. So I guess one of these books is like a book that is not necessarily related to my research, but 2 of them actually are in some way, so even if I don't read them in October, like that's fine. Like, I'm gonna read them at some point soon. I say a lot, but like I'm now in a phase of my PhD where I'm focusing back a bit more on fiction, so I think this is a better time to try to prioritize these. There are some prompts for Victober, and I kind of tend to not really heed to them especially, but I do think that at least one of these does cover a prompt, which I guess I'll get to when I talk about it. But so the first book that's research related, although I am really fascinated with this, and as a broader thing, I'm obviously interested in politics being represented in fiction, and also the politics of fiction itself. So I think I will find this very interesting. But this is Shirley by Charlotte Bronte, which is I think set in 1812, and it's about like unionisation. A struggling manufacturer, Robert Moore, has introduced labour-saving machinery to his Yorkshire mill. I guess when was like Luddites? Maybe a little bit after this, but it could be about that. I'm not sure. I kind of try not to like read loads, and also these backs often like spoil stuff. So, but anyway, I am really looking forward to reading this soonish. And then the book that does tick off a challenge, that's the word, is The Story of a Modern Woman by Ella Hepworth Dixon. The challenge is to read something that was originally serialized. This was originally appeared in serial form in the women's weekly The Lady's Pictorial. I'm interested in this because the heroine of this novel, Mary Al, is like Hepworth Dixon herself, a woman writer struggling to make a living as a journalist in the 1880s. Oh, there's Ella Hepworth Dixon. So this copy that I got secondhand is like very marked up, which I kind of resent because I don't think that was very clearly said. But that's okay. And maybe with this I'll read it like weekly or something as a fun way to reenact serialization. Anyway, and then the next one is a book I've definitely held up quite a few times, and that's The Story of an African Farm by Olive Schreiner. It is worth trying to get to this. I'm also, there's like a secondary piece I want to read about Olive Schreiner that I think will be relevant in terms of reading. So it's just time, you know? And I also really want to be able to like talk about this because I really think that I'm going to find it very interesting, if difficult. So those are my Victober reads. Then I have 7 non-Victober reads, but obviously these can be read either during October or in November, December, I guess January, February too, but we'll see. I think that 3 of them are published before 2000. I guess I'll just start with them. So another classic that I have that's on my autumn TBR is My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier. I talked about putting this on my TBR for autumn, and I just decided to do it. Hopefully I'll get to it like November time, who knows. I also have another PhD fiction book. This is like a bit later, I think it was 1913, and this is Miss Nobody by Ethel Carney, or Ethel Carney Holdsworth, sometimes she's referred to as, who was a working class writer and journalist, and she wrote fiction too. She wrote serialized fiction, I think. She seems pretty sick. So I really wanted to read this. I think this is a romance, which is quite interesting in terms of like the politics of romance. And the font actually is quite big. So I'm definitely hoping to get to this. I just feel like it will give me like more of a sense of the kind of, I don't know, context, I guess. And then the other book that is published before, there's like a big difference between all of these, but the other book that's published before 2000, this was from 1995, which was the year I was born, and this is When Fox is 1,000 by Larissa Lai. I think it's her debut. I haven't read a Larissa Lai novel for a while, but a couple years ago I read Saltfish Girl and The Tiger Flew, both of which I loved and I thought was like super gross and dykey, and I just like loved them. So I definitely wanted to check out her beginning fiction, and I definitely also have seen people say that they really like this, so yeah, I'm just looking forward to reading it. Again, like, this edition is like not especially good, although it's not coming up on camera how like pockmarked it is. That's not the right word, but ooh, like, yeah, I think this is gonna be great. I'm excited. I'm not really telling you what these are about, but I haven't read them, so and then I wanted to pick a book that I brought back from New York with me, so I put Alatsue by Dusty Little Badger. I also kind of put this on because it does feel kind of wintry, which like maybe is just the cover, because it's kind of like a wintry, ghosty cover, I feel. But I feel like it'll be a good like autumnal, wintry read. And it's also like a kid's book, which is nice. So then I've got a historical fiction book called A Book of Secrets, which is set in 1592. Thank you, very clear on the back here. Susan Charlwood, printer, widow, Catholic and African, is at a crossroads. Born in what is now Ghana, Susan, her mother and eldest brother were stolen from Africa and taken to England. Growing up as a lady's maid in an English household, she was indoctrinated into their illegal English Catholic ways. Wow, this, like, anyway, it sounds very interesting, set in Elizabethan England. Yeah, like, super excited to get to it, like, religious politics and also like racial politics. Then I've got the children's book by A. Aspire. I actually really want to read Possession, but I don't own a copy of Possession, and I was like, you know what, I do own a copy of this book because I picked it up a long time ago in a charity bookshop. So I should read this. Yeah, I think this is about, oh, I thought it was actually about real people, but maybe it's not, but it's about an author who writes a book for each of her children, and it is set in the Edwardian era. I don't know, but you know, A. Aspire, she's supposed to be great. I've never actually read a book of hers yet, but like I said, I am really interested in reading Possession, but like I also said, I don't have that. And then the last book is a fantasy book. This is The House of Shattered Wings by Aliette de Bodard. This book, I think I'm going to kind of give myself like a one of the reasons I put it on this TBR is kind of because, like, I think if I'm going to read it, then I need to read it, and if I'm not, then I should pass it on to someone else who will enjoy it. I think I did try to start reading it a while ago and just couldn't get into it, or like it just wasn't the right time, but as a result of that I feel like I should give it another go, but then maybe I can kind of pass it on if it doesn't work. But it's set in Paris post the Great Magician's War. It says it's a murder mystery and set against the fallout of a war in heaven. So it's obviously about angels, which I do love, but I also feel like because I love angels so much, sometimes I might have a lot of strong opinions about like how people are doing angels and whether they're doing them well. So that's like an exciting little list. Definitely let me know if you've read any of these books and what you think, or like, yeah. Let me know what you're reading for victober and for the autumn in general. There is a GoFundMe link in my description box to support Alla and her family with living costs whilst she's stuck in Gaza. If you could check that out, that would be great. I'll leave information also, I didn't cover this at all, about like who's hosting Victober, apologies. But yeah, I'll leave links to everything in the description box and all the information you need. I think that's everything I had to say. I'm excited to get reading. I will talk to you when I next talk to you. Bye!